guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bree if you are new here, and in today's video I just want to kind of like hang out, get ready together, and I'm gonna chat about like just some shit in the metalcore music scene. So if you guys want to hang out and chat about metalcore stuff and just vibe, then just keep on watching. Okay, so in case you're new here, or maybe you usually just come around for like the makeup aspect and so you're like, what the fuck is this bitch talking about? Last year I started a series on my channel where just about once a month I research the crap out of a band and I write up a little script, and then I do a video called The History of blank band. I've done Bad Omens, Sleep Token, Motionless in White, Black Veil Brides, Bring Me the Horizon, Dance Gavin Dance, and then most recently I did Ronnie Radke / Falling in Reverse. I originally started with that, and then I realized when I released my history of Bring Me the Horizon, literally right as I was finishing up editing that video, one of the like main members, Jordan Fish, left the band, and I had to like tack something on at the very end, like a little black screen being like, you know, during production of this video, blah blah blah, whatever. And it kind of like, it sparked a little idea with me that I was just like, I also think that it would be really fun, and I have been enjoying the crap out of it, of doing videos where like a once a month video at the beginning of the month where I talk about a bunch of news in the metalcore and metalcore adjacent scenes from the month prior. News, new music, stuff like that. And obviously I don't talk about all of the new music because that would just be so much, but you know, tracks that stick out to me, news related to bands that I've already talked about or have plans to talk about in the future, kind of stuff like that. So I've been doing the history of bands for probably like 6 or 7 months now, and I've been doing the news videos for like 3 or 4 months now, and I've been enjoying it. It's super fun. And recently, in my time at least, I had released, or I had posted my, it would have been my April metal music news video. And in that, it was the month that Tillian left Dance Gavin Dance. And another thing that I've started doing that it's not just for the music videos, not music videos, but you know what I mean, music videos about music. It's not just for those, I do it for all of my videos, but another thing that I've been doing recently has been taking little 1-minute clips of my video and posting those on TikTok and YouTube Shorts as kind of like a separate way to promote it, just something to kind of post up that's a little bit less intensive as trying to keep up with doing like constant short form content makeup videos. I mean, I already have the content filmed, so why not make the most out of it, you know? And like clips channels are so normal. The clip that I had specifically chosen in regards to my like metalcore music news video for April was talking about Tillian leaving Dance Gavin Dance. Now here's the thing, when I post short form content, I always put some type of music with it because that's a big part of how the short form algorithm works on any of the apps. You tie a song to it, a song has already a lot of views, that more than likely means it's trending. A trending audio is going to go farther than just like whatever old audio, right? But when it came to something like that, I didn't want to just put like some random trending song over it. I was talking about Dance Gavin Dance, so it made sense for me to use a DGD song, of course. And posting it on TikTok, I was just like, okay, like there's not a ton of views, but you know, there's a little bit. It'll probably get about the same amount of views that most of my TikToks get, which honestly isn't very much at all, but I don't really care that much about it. But when it came to YouTube Shorts, as I was posting it, I was just like, oh, this video is for sure not gonna do anything because the DGD song, like all of the songs that pulled up for Dance Gavin Dance were like, had like maybe 100 videos tied to the most played song on there. But I was like, whatever, it's fine. I would still rather use a Dance Gavin Dance song to talk about the band, and maybe that'll just kind of help put it in front of a couple people that it would be most relevant towards, you know? So I post this short specifically, think nothing of it, kind of just move on with my day, and I go to check in a couple hours later just to be like, you know, because I post them, the short form and the long form, on the same day, just usually like a little bit apart from each other. So we just wanted to check in, see, you know, how everything was doing, you know, if there were comments or whatever. And the short form content video, my car's at the dealership and they just called me to give me an update, and I completely lost my train of thought. I think that I was saying something along the lines of, I went back a couple hours later to check on, you know, the video, make sure that everything was, you know, looking good, see, you know, if there were comments, stuff like that. The short, specifically talking about Tillian leaving the band, was getting so much pushback. And literally, like, all that I said in the video was just like, you know, I think, and I stand behind it, by the way, is just that I think that, you know, the band more than likely saw a decrease in numbers, and ever since Tillian came back, he never fully left, but you know what I mean. And he, you know, the band decided to make the move that was the best for them and for their business and their success, because they are a business at the end of the day. And it's not all about just putting money in Tillian's pocket. Everyone else has, you know, life and bills and shit. And now, of course, it was a right around 60-second clip, you know. It was missing the context of the announcements that both the band and Tillian had made, and kind of how I thought that it was weird that Tillian's announcement that he was leaving was very much like thanking the fans, thanking the touring crew, but like not really talking too much about the boys in the band kind of thing, and like all of that. It was missing that context for sure. And I also don't expect every single person that watches a shorts clip or a TikTok clip to turn around and go watch the full thing unless they're like really interested in what I'm saying or doing, right? You know. But goddamn, if that video, if that little short didn't get the so much, I struck a chord somewhere with someone, multiple someones actually. I had so many dudes, for sure they were dudes, but which, I mean, it's metal, so that doesn't surprise me that, you know, it's predominantly a male focused, a male audience, but yeah, I had so many dudes commenting, a couple of them being like, oh, this is just Me Too bullshit, you know, he's innocent, blah blah blah, which, like, that's, I think you're stupid for saying that kind of stuff, but I'm just not even gonna engage, you know, you're beyond reason kind of thing. And I had a couple people pushing back on me about, you know, my thoughts on why why he was leaving. Obviously, no one's ever gonna know unless one of them does like fucking some like expose interview at some point. No one's ever gonna know. They're not as forthcoming about this exit as they were with like Johnny Craig, for example. But yeah, it was wild to me. I had posted my history of Ronnie Radke / history of Falling in Reverse video before those, like a week before those. And I kind of went into that one knowing like, hey, I may get some pushback on this one. Like I may get some comments going either way, because I kept it a very neutral stance throughout the Ronnie video. I only really interjected my opinions towards the very end, and even then I wasn't really like, I kind of vocalized like, hey, I'm not a fan of a lot of the shit that Ronnie says, but like at the end of the day, he is a marketing genius and blah 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 and this and that. And I kind of expected some amount of pushback regarding the Ronnie video. I was not expecting to get attacked by rabid Tillian stans. And calling them stans kind of does something for me, because these are the same type of men that would probably judge a girl for liking Taylor Swift or something like that, you know. But at the end of the day, if you're riding that hard for a dude in a band with known allegations, you're a fucking stan. Like, sorry, you're a stan. But yeah, that was kind of what sprungboard my discussion idea for today's video, is I was just, you know, I was so caught off guard by the reactions that I got to that video. I was more mean in my actual History of Dance Gavin Dance video that I had posted about a month before Tillian left. I was more mean about where that band was headed and kind of how they were going than I was in my little 1-minute clip. But these dudes got so damn offended over someone that just fucking doesn't know they exist, and they're not gonna, he's not gonna notice you, little bro. But yeah, moral of the story is that I do honestly find it pretty funny when I strike a chord with dudes like that. It's like half my goal with stuff like this, because there's so much gatekeeping, and I'll get into it when I get back, but like there's just so much gatekeeping that happens within the metalcore scene and just the metal scene as a whole, that, and especially a lot of like misogynistic gatekeeping as well. So it does do a little something for me when I can rile up a dude like that. But I'm gonna go do a little bit of my makeup off camera. I will be right back. But yeah, the pushback on that was insane. And then literally yesterday, again in my time yesterday, my best friend texted me the picture of a tour flyer, and she was like, what the fuck is this lineup? And it was Falling in Reverse's world tour, the Popular Monster world tour, or whatever the fuck it is. Falling in Reverse, Black Veil Brides, which, okay, they have been friends for a very long time, you know. I will admit that it is absolutely hilarious to me to watch Ronnie just 100% shit on Chris Motionless and like Motionless in White while being friends with Andy and, like, you know, supporting Black Veil Brides, when I feel like, first of all, their fan base is very similar, if not the fucking same. And second of all, like, I feel like a lot of the core things that BVB stands for is very similar to that of Motionless. It doesn't make sense to me, but I don't know, maybe it's because Motionless, or maybe it's because Black Veil didn't like explicitly basically make a pro LGBT song. I don't know. But yeah, Black Veil being on that tour didn't surprise me necessarily. And then Dance Gavin Dance is on the tour, and I was just like, first of all, who's your vocalist? Who is your vocalist? Like, and then Tech Nine, which, mind you, by the way, I saw the tour flyer and everything before I heard the song. You know, Tech Nine threw me for a loop, and then two random fucking dudes that I've never heard of, but looked at and went, y'all both look like Tom McDonald. And I looked at one of their Instagrams, and one of them had like I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't watch the video, so I have no idea if it was just bullshit, you know, just trying to catch a view or whatever, but one of the dudes had an Instagram reel posted, and the cover photo for the Instagram reel was like with the little siren emoji, and was like allegations. And I was like, is this the Problematic World Tour plus BVB? Like, is Black Veil gonna bring back Ashley so they fit in? Like, what's going on here? And like, why is Tech Nine there? And then I looked at the comments on the different bands. And by different bands, I mean Dance Gavin Dance and Black Veil's comments on Instagram for the tour announcement. And basically everyone in DGD's comments was like, so you drop one problematic person to go on tour with another problematic person. This just like, everyone was just like, this is not a good PR year for DGD, blah, 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 right? I mean, the very top comment was from Johnny Craig, and he did say, hold up, let me check my schedule, which did give me quite the laugh. And then the comments on Black Veils was just like genuinely just disappointed. Like, why are you going out on tour with Falling in Reverse? Like, he's so problematic, blah, blah, blah. Kind of what you would expect, especially considering I feel like a lot of Black Veils fan base tends to skew a lot younger. I'm not even going to touch the song. I'll talk about that when I do my music news video, which I'm pretty sure would already be up by the time this video's up. But I mean, none of this is like newsworthy. I'll probably even talk about the tour in that news video, but, and by none of this is newsworthy, I mean like this isn't me talking about news. This is kind of just me talking about just like my thoughts and opinions and stuff regarding stuff in the metalcore adjacent scene, just because I find it interesting, and I'm still kind of reeling from, you know, that YouTube short incident. But yeah, I mean, like, going back to what I was saying regarding like the misogyny in the metalcore community and just metal in general, and just the overwhelming amount of just like elitism that happens within this community, just like the amount of people who look at, like, for example, Bad Omens. I don't think that it is disingenuous to say that Bad Omens' first 2 records were metalcore. Especially Self-Titled was very much metalcore, and then Finding God was, you know, metalcore with like a little bit of an experimental vibe. They were kind of finding their ground, finding their footing, finding their niche, I guess you could say. And then like, I would not by any stretch of the imagination consider Death of Peace of Mind to be like a purely metalcore record, but it would be disingenuous to say that that record does not have metalcore influences to it. You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that Artificial Suicide is not a metalcore song? You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that Nowhere to Go isn't a metalcore song? Just because those also exist on the same album with a song like Just Pretend, or like Bad Decisions, for example, that doesn't automatically make the entire band no longer be metalcore. But the amount of people who will instantly shut down discussions about Bad Omens in a metalcore space is just so disingenuous to me. It's just so, not even necessarily disingenuous, it's just so elitist. Like, just because they no longer make music that you enjoy, they no longer fit within the space. And I find that to be just personally disgusting. Like, and it's been this way forever and ever and ever. It's, you know, as a woman in the metalcore, you know, and adjacent scenes, my presence at shows was typically seen as one of 2 ways. It was either seen as your boyfriend brought you, your husband, your boyfriend, your husband, whatever, brought you, and you're just along, or, you know, you only know this because your male friend or your male partner showed this music to you and that's the only reason you're here, or you're just here because you think that the guys in the band are hot and you're just trying to fuck the band guys. That's how my presence was always seen, and that's how I was always kind of treated in, like, at shows. So, oh, you're only here to fuck so-and-so, blah, 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 you know. Because God forbid I go to a show because I enjoy the music and I want to watch the show, you know. And I do just, like, I find it so funny coming from a community that's very much like, if someone falls in the pit, pick them back up. Which, yeah, obviously. But, like, if someone falls in the pit, pick them back up, but fuck her if she's a woman. Fuck her if she thinks that such and such band is metalcore, because they're not, and that's not my opinion of it. And again, this stretches far beyond the reaches of just metalcore. This is in all aspects of metal music in general, you know. I'm not overly familiar with, like, traditional metal, but, you know, I am aware of, you know, bands very similar to kind of what Bad Omens did. You know, I keep using them as an example, but, like, bands writing songs that are you know, a traditionally metal band writing a song and being that's not traditionally metal, or maybe is a little bit experimental or whatever, and suddenly they're written off as sellouts. I'm sorry, I have always been in the camp that, like, if you're a band that I love, I want to see you succeed. And I, you know, if getting big and signing to a major record label and selling out stadiums is what you want to do and that's what you accomplish, then, like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna be over there cheering you on. I grew up listening to, you know, Count Your Blessings and Suicide Season by Bring Me the Horizon. I didn't really love what they put out after that. I have since grown to love a lot of it. I still don't really love Ammo, but, you know, to each their own. But, like, even when I stopped listening to a lot of Bring Me's newer, you know, or newer at the time, or their more mainstream stuff, I was still like, dude, that's so cool for them. Like, they're you know, doing these major collabs, and they're with a major record label, and that's so cool for them. Because I always viewed it as, this is someone's gateway into metalcore and into the music that I enjoy. Because you get someone who, you know, maybe starts listening to Bring Me the Horizon during the That's the Spirit era, and they really love that album, so they want to listen to their older music, and now they're listening to Sempiternal, and Sempiternal's opening the doors up to, you know, other bands that are a little bit heavier than That's the Spirit is. That person goes and they listen to Suicide Season, and now they're listening to, like, traditional metalcore, and they're just progressively listening to heavier and heavier bands, which is then in turn making these heavier and heavier bands more successful, more able to pay their bills, more able to tour because they don't have to stay home and work a fucking real job. Not that making music isn't a real job, but you know what I mean, an office job, a retail job, a whatever, you know, a normal people job. And now suddenly this person who got into Bring Me the Horizon during the That's the Spirit era is fucking screaming Pray for Plagues, and now they're listening to deathcore, and they're going to deathcore shows, and they're buying merch for deathcore bands, and, you know, I personally see it as a win for everyone. Like, I would never gatekeep someone's introduction into metal, and I would never gatekeep what someone likes to listen to, with the exception of, like, Tom McDonald or something like that. I'll gatekeep the fuck out of that because that's just cringy and gross, but you know what I mean. Like, I wouldn't I'm never gonna judge someone for the kind of music that they like. Like, imagine liking a local band, like a little local metalcore band, and just, like, always going to their local shows, writing hard for them, you know, in your local scene, and then getting mad at them because they garnered enough popularity to be able to go on, like, a couple state tour, and then they garner a little bit more popularity to be able to go on a national tour. Like, why would you ever get mad at someone like that? And to me, a local band getting popular enough to be able to go on a national tour is the equivalent of Bring Me the Horizon getting popular enough to sign to fucking Capitol Records. It's the equivalent, just on different levels of the playing field, right? Like, why would you ever get mad at a band for being successful? Why wouldn't you want that for them? And, like, yeah, sure, we can absolutely have the discussion about how some of these fans that are new to the scene and are discovering bands from a platform like TikTok, which by all fucking means, I think that is one of the most phenomenal resources to finding a new band, to just discovering music in general. And, like, we can have a discussion about how they just, like, genuinely don't understand concert etiquette, but as long as the person's reasonable, show them, teach them, educate them. For fuck's sake, like, you were new to shows at one point too. And just because you've known a band since they first started and you went to go see them when they were in 100 cap rooms, like, you're not fucking better than anyone else. The elitism within the metal community is fucking disgusting. God forbid someone wants to talk about, you know, news with Sleep Token in a metalcore space just because they're not like predominantly metalcore anymore. Because I would personally think that that would be one of the best places to discuss it, because you're more likely to stumble across other people who probably also listen to or like Sleep Token. And then you get these dudes that are just like so genuinely upset that women exist in their little metal spaces. And it's just like, homie, these are the women that you share interests with. This is your chance to find someone to spend your life with, spend your time with, to like enjoy and have conversations with. Why do you feel the need to like push them out of a space when you could genuinely create like valuable connections with someone other than, you know, your group of dudes that just perpetuate your shitty fucking takes? But then again, at the same time, the type of dudes who pop up in my comments going, oh, this is just Me Too bullshit, aren't the type of dudes that, you know, women are going to want to spend their time with anyway. I don't know, a lot of this video today was just me going on like a really long tangent rant. But I kind of realized this morning, you know, as I was kind of deciding what I wanted to talk about in today's video, that I while I focus a lot on, you know, the news and the history videos, and I'm aware of the fact that there are pockets of my viewership and my subscribers that likely only watch my channel for those 2 videos out of the month, and I was just like, maybe I gotta give them something else, you know? Give someone else a little bit of a something. But in the same breath, a lot of what I've talked about today, while you, maybe if you're not a metalcore listener, or like a metal listener in general, I still feel like a lot of what I've talked about is still relevant to just like the general people, you know? Not fucking gatekeeping stuff. Don't be elitist about shit. Don't be cringy, don't be weird. And like, I'm not by any stretch of the imagination saying that like every single metalcore listener needs to also be a fan of a band like Black Veil Brides or Bad Omens or Sleep Token or whatever, but like, for fuck's sake, you don't need to get mad at someone for liking them, you know? Well, my other thing too is just like, especially with my history of the band videos, it's usually not until like the very end of a video will I give any type of an opinion. And even then, I still kind of, I not necessarily hold back my opinions, but I will kind of tamper down my language and my tone and stuff like that. I will kind of, you know, make it a little bit more widely accessible to a broader audience. And the same goes for the news videos as well. I tend to work though, like to speak about those in a way that is genuinely that, just more accessible to a wider audience. And it's very rare that I'll get on here and I'll talk about something like that and just like genuinely let my like opinions fly. And so it was kind of fun for me to just like film a video that was genuinely just like my opinion and my take on, you know, like a lot of the things that are wrong within the metal community. And again, I'm sure that a lot of this would extend far beyond. I guarantee that there's probably Swifties out there that are gatekeeping, you know, your average Taylor Swift listener who's not like over there trying to solve the fucking puzzles, and they're just listening to the music because they just want to listen to the music, you know? I guarantee there are people who call that person like a fake fan because they don't like invest all of their time and energy into Taylor Swift. It's one of those things that's it's a universal experience, but it's just kind of altered in how it plays out amongst the different crowds. Regardless, I'm gonna go finish up the rest of my makeup. I'll be right back. Here's the final look, even though I didn't like show you guys any of the makeup that I was applying. It'll all be listed and linked down below for you guys. I enjoyed this, actually. I'm gonna try to make a habit of like more casually talking about metalcore and the metalcore scene and stuff like that. Like I'm gonna make a habit of doing that a little bit more often on my channel. Like I said, I know that I have like a chunk of my subscribers that are genuinely just here from the history videos, and they probably only watch the history and the news videos and only the history bands that they're actually interested in. So giving a little bit of something extra for those guys. That was my soapbox of the day. I'm allowed one every once in a while. But comment down below and let me know how you feel about the metalcore adjacent, all of that scene. How do you feel about the elitism, the gatekeeping? Let's have a conversation down below. Please subscribe if you have not already. It would mean the world to me. Like this video, ring the bell, do all the things. I hope that you guys have an awesome day. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.